In canon, Artemis said, "My hunters follow me on my adventures. They are my maidservants, my companions, my sisters in arms. Once they swear loyalty to me, they are indeed immortal, unless they fall in battle, which is unlikely, or break their oath." "What oath?" Percy said. "To forswear romantic love forever," Artemis said. "So you just go around the country recruiting half-bloods." "Not just half-bloods," Zoe interrupted. "Lady Artemis does not discriminate by birth. All who honor the goddess may join. Half-bloods, nymphs, mortals." Bianca said, "I pledge myself to the goddess Artemis. I turn my back on the company of men, accept eternal maidenhood, and join the hunt." Later in canon, Apollon said, "You two left the hunters for each other." Josephina gazed into the distance. "We didn't exactly plan it. We left in, 1986? 87, Emmy said. "We've been aging together ever since, very happily. The mission of the hunters is to live without romantic distractions of any kind." I think the reason for this is probably because Artemis Diana is aromantic asexual, romance repulsed, and sex repulsed. She wanted to be happy away from all the romantic and sexual stuff, so the hunt is a safe space created by her. There's a tweet on Twitter X by the author which goes, "Artemis is clearly our ace. Her hunters can be all over the spectrum, but while they are in the hunt, they are expected to be chaste. The focus is on platonic fellowship and camaraderie. If two hunters fall in love, like Emmy and Joe did, they need to tell Artemis and negotiate an amicable exit." Which is understandable. Romance and sex are already everywhere. Having at least one place where they can be avoided is awesome. However, I dislike how the oath is worded in canon. Therefore, it in my alternate multiverse rewrite timeline of Percy Jackson 2005 franchise is, "I pledge myself to the god of chastity Artemis. I turn my back on romantic and sexual companions, accept eternal celibacy, and join the hunt." If the hunter is prior to joining the hunt only aware of the Roman deities, they say Diana instead of Artemis. With this altered oath, there's no sorry, English isn't my first language. There's no ambiguity, whatever. You know what I mean. There's no uncertainty over whether the hunters can date and or have sex with people who are female or in some way gender non-binary. The oath now explicitly incorporates the canon no romance rule and also clarifies that sex isn't allowed in the hunt either. Sex and romance are two different things, and a relationship can include one without including the other. Since Diana Artemis is repulsed by both and eternally celibate by her own choice, my version of the oath mentions both. Since Hippolytus, Scamandrios, Ephthunikos, and Daphnis are presumably perisex cisgender men who were hunters in ancient times, my version of the hunt allows people of any gender and sex to join, instead of being limited to perisex cisgender girls and women. Virginity isn't necessary either, since some hunters join after having dated, then got married, then either divorced or became widows. Literally, the only rule is staying celibate. Upon someone saying, signing, writing, or very firmly thinking the oath, they gain a silver aura as a sign of the blessings from Diana Artemis activating. Those include immortality, unless the hunter dies in battle, their body not aging at all physically from that moment onwards. I mean, the moment that they say the oath onwards. Therefore, any hunter who menstruates no longer experiences it, and hunter's hair doesn't grow nor lose its dye. Of course, they can use potions or the mist to artificially grow their hair if they want to, but it no longer grows by itself the way mortal people's hair does. They can dye their hair if they want to, but it doesn't fade away no matter how much time passes, unless they put on hair dye remover. The hunt's immortality also includes immunity to illnesses caused by like bacteria and viruses. Another of the blessings is increased strength, durability, endurance and speed. The whatchamacallit. There's also immense accuracy in shooting arrows with a bow, and the hunters can communicate effectively with wild animals. A power I'm adding for the hunt is the ability to conjure a wooden or metallic bow, a likewise quiver, and a bunch of matching arrows whenever they want. Another power I'm adding is the ability to intensify their own cannon silver glow into beams and balls of light. The latter able to be thrown as a magical stun grenade to blind enemies with the bright flash of silver light. Artemis, Diana, and the more experienced hunters teach the new ones how to hunt for monsters and wild animals, which includes tracking lessons, along with teaching them how to make use of any wild animal for food, clothes, and tools. The new hunters learn other wilderness survival skills too, such as foraging and water filtering. Water filtering. So yeah, that's the hunt.